Uh, Tonight we'll be recording the session, as you can see on your screen. If you do not want to be recorded, you'll be able to choose that option on your screen. And we'll ask that tonight, if you can keep your microphones off until we have questions, or until we ask for questions, and you'll be able to use the chat as we continue through. So the This Girl Can initiative is about inspiring women to get active, however, wherever and whenever they choose, without being judged. As part of Active Stonnington's support for This Girl Can, I'm happy to introduce Stephanie here to tell us about her journey and about how being active and her sport changed her life. Welcome, Steph. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you for giving me this privilege to be here and to be able to talk about myself and also motivate other women there to stay active. Yes.
So, Steph, why don't you start off with telling us a little bit about yourself and your sport?
Awesome. Yes, as the honor, I'm Steph Mfwongwot, and then I'm 20, just turned 29 few days ago, and then I'm a boxer, professional boxer. I just turned pro earlier this year, and been an amateur boxer for about 10 years. So I moved to Australia in 2009, coming from Cameroon, and was in Darwin for 3 years, and then I relocated in Melbourne in 2012. And I started boxing when I was, the main reason why I started boxing, I just wanted to lose weight. Born in a family where everyone plays sports. So my siblings, my brothers, so born in a family of 5 brothers and 1 sister. So my brothers were so more active, mainly in boxing. So with my dad as well, so joining them with their training, my main reason was to lose weight. So when I started, I was close to 100, about 98 kilos, and I wanted to lose weight and just be happy and feel better about myself, because I was always bullied about my weight and how big I was. So that's how I joined boxing, training with my brothers, running every day with them before school, and boxing in the afternoon after school. And through that process of losing weight, my brother, one of my brother joined, that is still supporting me, noticed the way I was moving, and he saw the potential in me. That's how he said I could have a go, and try boxing. So it was really hard to take that decision. So and I said yes to it. I had my first fight, which was a bit challenging because my mom was there, and I even told him that after my first, if I win, I'll quit boxing. But if I lose, I will continue if I win. But if I lose, I will quit. So, and the first fight was the biggest challenge because that was the international competition in Darwin. That's one of the popular international tournament, a bit like Commonwealth game. It's called Ahafura game. That's where I had my first fight, and that was in 2011. And then unfortunately, I was matched up with a girl that was rated number 2, world number 2. A girl that had over 100 fights, with me having only 1 fight. But what kept me going is how I pulled out through the fight, because after the fight, I was leading. I just lost at the end by 1 point. And I went back, sat down, went through the whole fight, and I was like, if I can lose against a world number 2 with 1 point, that means I can do it. So that's how I made that decision to take up boxing, and fell in love with it, and I'm still going.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Wow, Steph, that's amazing. To tell us a little bit about when you first started out, at the start of beginning to get to the gym and beginning to learn boxing. How was that experience for you?
Honestly, it was challenging. I could not even skip for 30 seconds. I could not do anything because, first of all, I grew up in a remote area with my grandmother that would only feed me. I would do nothing just to eat, So at the age of 16, being 98 kilos, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't skip. I could not run. But with the motivation of my siblings, especially Jonas, that motivated me a lot. And then I would partly as well say my dad as well by pushing me with running because he ran a lot. So it was always like, let's go for a run every morning. And it was hard because running with someone that do my turn, he always had to go forward, come back and get me. Because I ran for like 30 seconds, 1 minute, stop, I can't breathe, I can't do it. Like, come on, let's go. So that's how I did it. It was, honestly, it was really challenging, but the support that I had around me really kept me going. And also because in my mind, I really wanted to change the way people see me. And also because I was also bullied by my other brother. One of my brother wouldn't let me sit there. If I sit like this, we watching TV as a family, be like, no, you get up, you are so fat, go and get me this, go and get me that. So that was also a bit annoying for me too. So I felt like, why would he treat me like that just because of my weight? And then I wanted to change that. Yeah.
And you said that like at times it's challenging, like doing that type of activity and training. What's going through your mind, and how do you push through those times?
The first thing that came to my mind was to let it go. Like, why am I even doing this? Just be the way you are. But I was just like, no, I want to change it. The way, especially that my brother see me, he say I can't do it. Even when I started training, I remember he said, no, you can't do it. Boxing is not for you. Just let it go. You can't be here. And for me, that was a bridge that I have to cross. And I told myself I would cross it. So each time I felt discouraged by letting go through the pain, it was so hard, challenging. You are skipping, you twist your ankle, you go for a run, you fall, all that. Each time I thought of what my brother was telling me, I can't do it. It's not for me. I'm like, no, that's not me. I can do it. And I'll push through.
Wow,
that wasn't easy at all.
That's amazing.
It was a daily decision, or not to say too much over maybe hours, decision that I had to make, that this is what I want and I will go for it. Yeah.
And you said then that your brother began to notice that you were moving a certain way for boxing. Tell us about when you started to think about boxing something that I could really compete in.
Yeah, so because when I was training with my brothers like that, they were doing a lot of partner work in boxing. We do a lot of partner work, and then my dad started putting me with them to do partner work. And my brother Jonas noticed the way I was moving, paying attention to all the advice, and he told me that I can do it. It's something I should think about, the way I move, I can do it. I went back after that. I went back in my room. I was there thinking about it. So they say I did well today, so I can do it. But I was so scared of getting hit. That was my biggest challenge. I was so scared of getting hit on my face, especially. I wanted to keep my beautiful face. I still got it. For me, if they told me that I knew what I was getting myself into back then, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. If they had told me exactly what I was getting myself into by saying yes to boxing, I wouldn't. I would be like, no, that's not me. That's not what I'm gonna do. But I had to believe in what my brother told me, because I believe in, he told me I could do it. He saw the way I move I am with others, and he was like, you can do it. Because back then I had no idea about boxing. I worked nothing at all. So for him, that has been boxing from the age of 5, to see me do something like that and say, you can do it. So I was like, okay, I will stand up and then have a try. Yeah.
And so you've said a couple of times of how important your brother was to you and giving you that support. Yeah. Tell us about what you think about how support plays a role in, you know, training or trying to start exercising or moving.
It's really important with the support, because when you start, especially for someone that starts from scratch, if you have a right support around you, that is really important, because when you start, so you have lots of barriers coming on your way and you are just really close to let it go. But when you have a good support, or you surround yourself with people that can really give you that support to push you forward to reach your goal, it is so important. So important, yeah. But I'm not denying the fact that other people can also motivate themselves. But to be honest, when you start from scratch, it's really hard to put yourself by yourself. You know, yeah. But having that support around you is really important. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And so when did you move to Melbourne? And tell us about what your training is like in Melbourne.
When I first moved to Melbourne, the first thing was we had a bit of struggle finding a gym. You know one, and you know one when I first moved here, but lucky my brother joined us, because I moved with him. He helped me find a gym in Moorabbin where I started. It was good, but a bit challenging, because in that gym was like, oh, a women boxing, a women boxer. So for them was a bit awkward. And then I remember going to the gym and the trainer there just ignored me. And my brother was always kind of pushing me forward. No, she's way better than me. But after I had a few fights there, and the trainer also saw how motivated I was every training session, training 3 times a week. And then on the Sunday, the 4th training session of the week, either go to the beach or sprinting. I was always there. So with all that dedication, I was coming all the way from Moorabbin, from Dandenong to Moorabbin by train, by public transport. That's a long way. So yeah, my trainer saw that I was so motivated and helped me. Yeah.
Wow. And it having that experience of having to prove yourself must be challenging when you know that you're good.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was really challenging. You know, when you come to the gym, you're so excited to do what you already fell in love with, and the trainer that is there to, you know, to take care of you and give you instructions so you can play and do it. He would just ignore you. It was really challenging. It was really challenging, yeah, and true. And back then I was the only female in the gym, and I only had to work with boys or guys there, sparring, everything. And it was even hard to get girls to work with, to spar, you know, and then yeah, and that was one of the main reasons why I left Darwin, because in Darwin I was the only female there that could box. And yeah, so after I won my first national in 2012 with Darwin, I was like, no, let me go to Melbourne. Maybe there I will have more opportunity and fight more. Yeah.
So Steph, why do you think that is, that there's not as many female boxers?
I would say at the moment it's kind of get more popular, but I would say back then it's because most of them had this difference of combat sport is mainly for men, and also they have the barrier that they can't do it. Yeah.
And what would you say to that boxing's only for men?
Because back then most of them thought it's a rough, like really tough sport. Which is it's a really tough sport. Yeah, but I believe that if you love it, anything you love, you can do it. Yeah, I'm not the believer of that's for men, that's for women. No.
Yes, well, you proved that.
Yeah.
So Steph, tell us a little bit more maybe about your training and how nutrition and sleep and recovery fits all together for you as an athlete.
I started training. Training is really challenging because you have to first make that decision. I wake up early in the morning. I have to be up around 4 o'clock, get my stuff ready, and then 5:30 I have to be at the gym, or if I'm going for my early morning run, that's means 5 a.m. I have to be out there doing my 10K run. So, and the 10K run 2 to 3 times a week, and then my 5:30 early morning run, that 3 times a week for my conditioning. And then during the day, I got to rest and do other things. In the afternoon, my boxing. And yeah, so but when I'm leading up to a competition, that's where it shifts. So the normal training in the morning, I got an hour and a half to 2 hours either running, then shuttle, or my conditioning. And in the afternoon, mainly boxing. So that's pretty much my life for 6 days a week. So you only get a Sunday off for my recovery and rest. Yeah.
So you've got running as your conditioning. You've got running as your conditioning, Steph. Do you what other you do sparring and technique work? Do you lift weights?
Yeah. So the lift weight that's more for conditioning in the morning, strength and conditioning in the morning. That's 3 times a week for me. And yeah, I do weight, power, speed. That's where I work on that heavy weight, light weight, power, speed. And in the afternoon, that's where I do all my boxing technique, heavy bag, also speed on the bag. So mainly about boxing in the afternoon and sparring as well. So there are some times where sparring turns out to be during the day, so and we go for it. But mainly afternoon sparring, like all about boxing. All the technique, boxing technique, sparring, partner work, bag work in the afternoon.
So how many hours would you say during the day you're training?
I would say the minimum is 3 hours. Yeah, minimum.
And then on those days where you've kind of got 2 sessions a day, how are you fitting in your nutrition and your eating throughout the day?
During the day, in the morning, after my conditioning, so first thing in the morning, I always get a glass of water, or maybe a hot tea, or maybe hot water, simple just water before I go for my session in the morning. And after that, I have my breakfast, and after breakfast, lunch. I'm not the type that snack a lot. I've tried, but it doesn't work for me. So when I snack between my lunch, dinner, or between breakfast and lunch, I feel a bit full and not comfortable. Yeah. So, but my main meal is dinner. Always like to keep it breakfast, lunch really light, and my main meal is dinner. And with my nutrition, it also changes because sometimes it depends if I have to maintain the weight where I am or I have to increase my weight. So if I have to maintain my weight, then I just eat normal. In the morning, I just eat a very light breakfast as usual. And around lunchtime, I can probably eat a little bit heavier. And then dinner always make it heavy. My dinner is always heavy. And if I have to drop weight, then my lunch will be light as well. So I can either have like a salad or a smoothie with kind of a healthy bar on the side. Yeah.
So that's a unique. It's a unique process for boxing, is to cut weight. Tell us a bit about that and what that experience is like.
That's the worst part. Cutting weight, that's the worst part in boxing, and especially with me, because I fight kind of in many different weight categories. It's let's say like last time, my last fight, I will take an example on that. I had to drop weight and go down to 68. And when I was informed about the fight, I was 82. And it was just 3 weeks to the fight. I'm not the type that say no to fight for any reason. No matter what, because I believe no matter what, I'll go through that and I'll get it. So when they told me about the fight, the weight, and I was just like, yep, I would take it. And also knowing that it's so hard for me to get an opponent. So when I had the opportunity, they told me, oh, this girl said yes to fight. I'm like, yep, I go for it. So in 3 weeks, coming off 2-week isolation because I tested positive, and in just 3 weeks, I had to move from 82 down to 68 to make weight to be able to fight. It was really challenging because my diet they had to really tweak it. So, and my eating as well was very light. There were days where I felt like, oh, I need to eat, but I had to wait and hold myself a bit to eat a bit more later when I have to eat. But my food was mainly light. Even when they say dinner to be heavy, it was always kind of a lot as well. Yes, so to be able to make weight, and that is the first time ever I have ever make weight in a short period of time, like that. Yeah.
How does training go and sleep go while you're trying to make weight? Because it's quite a big loss in that time.
It affects my sleep because when it's normally I sleep for like 5 hours. That's the maximum I sleep, and then I can sleep again. Yeah, but during that time when I don't eat that much, it affects my sleep. I would sleep for like 2 hours, 3 hours, get up, and then drink like a glass of water or something, then wait again to get another sleep. So yeah, but when I'm normal, my sleep is good 5 hours. Relax a bit, and then I will sleep again. But one thing I don't joke with is my nap. I always make sure I have a nap during the day, always. Yeah.
Thanks, Steph. So, Steph, let's talk about now what advice would you give to someone who's looking to start boxing, maybe a young girl thinking about starting? What would you say to them?
First of all, I would say it won't be easy. You may watch someone do it. You think it's easy, it's fun, it's beautiful, but you don't know what they're going through behind the scenes. So yeah, that's the first thing. Know that it won't be easy, but it is fun. First, they need to love it, have the why they want to do it. They can jump on it without any reason. They should have a reason why they want to do it. because that is the why they will use it. They feel discouraged, disappointed, they feel like they can't do it anymore, about to give up. The why will be what will push them to keep holding. Yeah, and then and that's another thing. Another thing will be the commitment, dedication, and be true to themselves about what they're doing. The training, so not to lie to themselves about training and the way they eat or the dedication. They just need to be truthful to themselves.
And Steph, so you spoke about the why then. How do you describe your why, or what's your why for boxing or being an athlete?
My why was first because my brother said I couldn't do it. One of my brothers, the way he bullied me and he told me I could not do it. He told me on my face, boxing is not for you. And I say, for someone that never even thought of boxing or being an athlete or getting involved with sport, and he told me that, I felt really bad to remember that day when he told me that. Through this day, that has been my why, and I was like, no, I can do it. And then with the support that I had, I did it. I did it, yeah. And yeah, I'm glad and not too show off, but just happy and really proud of myself that I did it, and even did more than what he did, and yeah.
Yeah, wow. And Steph, what does tell us about upcoming fights, or what does the future hold for you and your career?
Oh, I got a fight coming up tomorrow. I'm actually in Brisbane, and then going for my third professional fight. We'll be fighting tomorrow against a girl from here, from Brisbane. And it's the girl I fought during my amateur days in 2016. I fought her back then, and I won unanimously. So it will be good to go again, toes to toes with her tomorrow at 7. And I'm looking so much forward to it. So always a great privilege to step in the ring and do what I love and I enjoy. Be in my comfort zone. Yeah, and then after that, so after getting that win tomorrow, I believe it will open more doors. We'll have more opportunities. Yeah, my team are working on great things. So we still have not revealed it to me yet. So, but I know that they got a great plan for me. Yeah, so it's after my tomorrow win that I will know, but my aim is to be a world champion, and I believe I will. Nothing can stop me, and nothing will stop me. Yeah.
Great. And Steph, I have no other questions. Do you have anything you want to speak about from here?
Oh, maybe so we can just leave. If anyone got a question for me, it would be great.
Yeah. Jeremy, would you help us with that? I believe Meredith. Thank you.
Sure will. I might throw a question as well to you, Steph. Just wondering, what do you think is the reason more girls and women are getting into the sport of boxing?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yes. What do you think is the reason that more girls and women are starting to get into boxing?
First, lack of confidence. They got the lack of confidence, and also because of the judgment, how people will be seeing them or judging them. Yeah.
And are you seeing more girls and women starting to get into the sport, or is it still quite male dominated?
I would say at the moment I can see more women are getting involved now. Are getting involved now compared to 5 years back. Yeah.
Exciting. Just one on, you early talked about how you travelled from Dandenong to Moorabbin for training.
Yeah.
How long did it take your trainer to realise that you were serious about the sport? Was it weeks, months, a year? And for your trainer to then, really connect with you and want to work with you?
It took him a couple of months. It took him a couple of months. I would say it was after my first fight with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, after my first fight with him, I remember for the girl that was the best in Victoria, and that was actually for the state title. So, and the girl got the decision because they thought I was just gonna fight and go back. So, and after I pulled, the way I pulled out, that's where he was really impressed. And yeah, and after that fight, he was full on with me. And that was probably, I would say 5 to 6 months being with him. Yeah.
And is there much support for girls and women in the sport of boxing? Sponsors or from the Australian Boxing Federation?
At the moment, yet they are getting more support now. So back then it wasn't, but at the moment, girls are getting more attention and more support from different organizations and sponsorship as well, even though with sponsorship too a bit difficult, but for those that understand are willing to also step into support women. Yeah, but with the support from different organizations, women are getting it already.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you have such incredible belief in yourself. Do you think that comes from growing up with brothers or yourself and the challenges and barriers you faced in this sport and overcoming them and showing that you are amazing and want to compete and be the best that you can be? Where do you think that comes from?
I would say that comes from men. First of all, the support I got at me. Because to be honest, I wasn't the type that would believe in myself that I can do it. I would do this, I'll go for that. No, but with the support that I had around me and then having the right people talking to me, making me to see things different than how I thought or how I see it. So make me to sit back and think and yeah, accept it and go forward. And yeah, that's first of all from the support I'm getting around me.
Meredith, if you'd like to come off mute and ask your question.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry, my internet's a little weak here, so I've got the video off. Steph, first of all, you are a powerhouse. I am so impressed. When you said that you cut down from 82 to 68 kilos, I choked on my drink, honestly. That's insane. And no, your dedication to the support is, yeah, it's really inspiring. I was also curious about sponsorship, so I'm glad that was already asked. My question is a little bit just about like the intersectionality of, being a woman in a male-dominated sport and also, being someone who was born overseas. I was wondering if you felt that presented you additional challenges as you were sort of fighting to be taken seriously in the sport.
Sorry, I missed that. Can you go a bit slow using my hearing aid? Yeah.
Sorry. No, you're going well.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you've talked about the challenges of being a woman in boxing to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Do you also find that being, coming from overseas, has that presented you with advantages or sometimes barriers in boxing?
with that one, I would say probably being coming from overseas, a bit of barriers because not knowing how things work here. That was one of the things. Yeah. Understanding the culture as well and knowing how things work here. So for someone that grew up here, will kind of had a clear understanding and will help shape up your vision compared to someone coming from overseas.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And if I can ask a second question as well.
Yeah.
Do you work with any young girls in boxing, young women in boxing?
Yeah, I do work with this Malvern City Council, so Oxygen Center that based in Coburg, and I've been with them for 5 years, and they're focusing more with young girls, so between the age of 12 to 24. And I also work with women a lot, run online boxing sessions. So started that during lockdown, and the reason to do that during lockdown was just to keep those women active. And after lockdown, most of them wanted to continue because that was more flexible for them and no reason to miss their training because they're running late or they're traveling. So they were like, even if they travel, they could keep up with their training. So yeah, I work with women a lot.
That's fantastic. So last thing while I have the mic is just a huge good luck for your fight tomorrow. You're going to smash it.
Thank you. That will be tomorrow at 7 and you can watch it on Postal or KO.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Franklin, you had your hand raised as well. Would you like to ask a question?
All right.
Oh, hi, Steph. First of all, I've been listening to your story, and it sounds inspired. It is inspiring, and it sounds very like you had a lot of challenges, but you've made it through, and here you are being a professional. It's been quite a journey, and something that stood out to me was the challenges you faced when you first got to the boxing gym in Melbourne. Yeah. And hardly, or if not, never got an opportunity to box.
Yeah.
It must have been very frustrating for you, first of all, to leave Northern Territory and come to Victoria and still face those type of challenges.
Yeah, it was. It was really challenging moving from Northern Territory.
How did you deal with it, being it that you? Hello?
Yeah.
So how did you deal with the challenges you were facing at the club with your new boxing coach? What made you stay there, and what gave you the hope to keep going?
Well, first of all, when it was first hard to get a gym, to find a gym, then most of the gym that we went to before, we even found one in Malvern, they just kind of ignore us at all. You know, you work in a gym, see the trainer or the owner of the gym, you ask questions, they will just see you and answer questions like, you know, they're not giving you any attention, just ignore you. When my brother found that gym, he went there before me and he was like, oh, I found the gym, we should go there, and it was good compared to other gyms that we went to. So, and when we went there, I did not get the attention I expected. But for me, I just believe that because they don't know me, they don't know what I got, as soon as they will see me express myself, yeah, it will be fine. Or when I get the opportunity to express myself, I will express myself and everything will be fine. For me, we just, there's the gym, you can go there and train, and then I keep on going.
Thank you for that. Next time I get frustrated and I find myself in those type of situation, I'll just think of that. Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
The second question I had was about like you mentioned about the amount of weight you lost in that 3 weeks before your last fight.
Yeah.
What are the effects or the challenges you face in terms of your mental health or your mood when you lose that much weight within that short period of time?
It takes a lot out of you because missing a lot of strength and yeah, feel like starving most of the time because you have to make weight. And then very hard because for competition like that time, I lost that fat because I couldn't move. When I got here, and that fat was actually here in Brisbane 2 months back. And when I got here, I was 2 kilos, almost 2 kilo over, 1.8 gram over, 1 kilo 800 gram over. And I had to lose that 1.8. And I only had 2 hours to drop those 2 kilos. And the fat was gonna be in less than 24 hours. Trying to find a place to drop those 1.8 kilos. Had to run on the treadmill, like 30 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes in the sauna and 10 minutes on the pad. And I did that like that 2 times to be able to drop those weight. I did it perfect, that was good, but the strength and the challenges, because during that time I only felt like giving up. But my heart was always like, keep going, you can do it. And it was good that with my team around me, they pushed me through and I make weight. But during 5, I couldn't move. I'm a boxer that move on her feet and box. I don't move, I can't box, but I move. That's one of my strengths, to be able to use my footwork and movement. So the weight really took a lot out of me, especially that 1.8, to be able to drop that like that in less than 24 hours to the fast. You know, the 24 hours is just normally for you to just sit and relax and think about big night, then not stressing about the fat, about the weight.
And
yeah.
what have you done differently this time around, given that you had more time to lose weight?
The first thing I told myself when after that loss, I went back to Melbourne. I was like, I have to maintain my weight, not to go over 75 again. That was the first thing I did. I told myself, and we shall maintain that. Was really happy. The reason I stay over 70 is just because I could get a fat around 72, 70 or 75. Much easier for me to move between that. Yeah, I was so happy to maintain my first, the first thing I told myself, not to go over 75 again. So it can be easier for me to move up weight or down. And yeah, this time around, it was so easy to just go down by 4 kilos.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And last thing for me would say, good luck for your fight tomorrow. And I know you're going to do better. Bring us that victory back to Victoria.
Thank you. Yep, I'll bring it back. I'll bring the victory. I'm confident.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Was there any more questions to finish us off? Or so, Steph, tell us about where we can follow you. Where can we see your next fight, and how can we keep in touch?
Okay, you can follow me. I'm on Instagram at Stephanie Mfwongwot. So MF Mfwongwot, Stephanie with PH. And Mfwongwot, MFONGWOT, Instagram or Facebook. You'll find me using those 2. And then for my next fight tomorrow will be on Postal. I'm the first fight up on TV, so 7 o'clock exactly. I'll be working on in the gym, in the ring, not the gym, in the ring. And then, or if you don't have Postal, you can download the app KO. And I believe you just have to pay a few dollars to be able to get the live and watch it from there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steph. Jeremy, do you have anything to add before I close up?
First thing I want to say is really to motivate any young or any women out there that is willing when you want to make a difference. Nothing should hold them back. As soon as I believe that, as soon as you got something in your heart that you want to do, no matter what you see, no matter the difficulty that you see that, oh, it's impossible to do it. As soon as you got that in your heart that, oh, that can happen, that means that's a proof that you can do it. So you just go for it. Sometimes our mind may bring us down, but our heart can never lie to us. Anything that we hold in our heart is something that is possible to happen and will happen. We take a step of faith and move forward. And also having the right people around that support us. So if you want to start anything, may not be boxing, it may be any other sport, or just want to change your lifestyle and have a healthy lifestyle and keep active, make sure you surround yourself with positive-minded people, with people that have a same vision as you, will help motivate you and push you to achieve your goal. And also through the process of doing that is also sometimes to always challenge yourself. Maybe if you start with running 1K a week or every 2 weeks, I can say, try and challenge yourself and say, okay, so now I've done the 1K, seems to be easy. Let me go for 2, let me go for 5. Why not? And if you don't put those goals in front of you to kind of crack it, you will not know your potential. You will just kind of stick around in one spot. So yeah, that's what I would say to motivate those women out there. And not to stand by what people say, stand by what you believe. You can, and if you can, nothing can stop you. The barriers are always there, sometimes to motivate us, to boost us, or just to have that fear. And if the fear is there, that means there is a potential. And if you don't have any challenge, something goes smoothly in love. I always say that in love, if things go smoothly without any barriers, you have not discovered yourself. But if you are going in love, no matter what you're going through, and you have challenges, that help to discover who you truly are, to discover your potential. And so, yeah, that's what I would say for that. And also want to say a big thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here and be able to talk about myself. It's something I always enjoy doing, to talk about myself, looking at the young girls growing up from a very remote area in Cameroon, coming to Australia, start boxing. And it's always a privilege to share my story to motivate anyone out there.
Thank you, Steph. It's a privilege to have you here and speaking with us. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And I'd like to also thank our Auslan interpreters, Esther and Naomi. Thank you. And thank you to our guests, Franklin and Meredith. And thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you, Steph. Incredible to hear what you've been doing, and you really are. It's exciting to see girls and women's boxing and you as a trailblazer in the sport and creating these opportunities for the next generations to follow in your footsteps. It's really incredible.
Thank you.
Then we'll leave it there. Thank you, everyone, and we'll sign off.